Hi Leila, how you doing?
Hello, Mr. Rahul. We have some questions from our students here.
Sure, go for it.
What would you say to your 16-year-old self?
Uh, of course, I'm not that old, but I would say that you still have time. Don't be in a hurry.
What has creating a school taught you?
That actually anything is possible because people say that a lot, and of course, every movie you'll ever see, anything is possible. Anything is possible, but really, when this happened, I realized that actually, yeah, anything is possible. You can try and do things that people don't expect you to do, and sometimes be successful.
Do you identify as yourself as a capitalist or communist, or maybe even socialist?
Uh, I used to live in Berlin, or I still live in Berlin, which is known to be very socialist. I have a communist background. My granddad was actually a communist leader. But I would say that I'm a capitalist, yes. But I don't like labels. I feel that if people are put into brackets and they're put into these groups very easily. But out of those three, I would be closest to capitalist, but I wouldn't choose a name if I had a choice.
What do you hope to achieve with LANDAU?
Really, we had to answer that question, I'd go back what I told Mr. Nicky Arnold. He was the Pearson inspector who came last week or a week ago, or 2 weeks ago. And I said, I would like to do two things. I would like to have, firstly, create an organization, an institution where students are allowed to dream of best universities and all their ambitions. They said, okay, it's possible. Let's try, right? So people are not told, oh, that's too ridiculous. Let's not do that. That's one. B, I would like to give inspiration to other entrepreneurs to say that here you have an organization that is trying to be good, in the sense that it's trying to do all it can for better service provided to parents, and also at the same time trying to be very good, or trying to be more positive towards its teachers, its students, and trying to be generally good. And hopefully other people might take inspiration from that and go to other industries, to other sectors of the economy, and do something similar. That's what I would hope for, yes.
What is it like to study in Germany?
In Germany, it's interesting. It's a different. I mean, I was in the UK for schooling. I went there for my A levels. I thought it would be similar when I went to Germany, but it is actually quite different. It's very. You see, people say German people are dry or not very friendly, which actually is not true. They're very reserved, but when you get to know them, they're actually very fun-loving people. So in Germany, I think that's my experience of Germany, studying there as well. That it was at the beginning was very, everyone was reserved, everyone was a bit keeping at a distance, but eventually I started enjoying it a lot. It definitely it is a great experience. Yeah.
Can you define your mood in 3 words?
My mood right now. Well, I don't think tired would describe my mood, but exhausted, tired, those kind of words perhaps. So maybe tired, even though I don't think that's the right word. Definitely ecstatic. I'm very happy with how things are right now. And the third one, I don't know, to be honest. So let's keep it two.
How do you balance work and life?
Oh, this is a question that I'm asked all the time, actually. And realistically, the true answer is I don't think I have a work-life balance. But what I do try, I work out a lot so that to keep myself a bit focused, or to give me some time where I'm not working. But on the other hand, I try to have a lot of interesting conversations during work, so that with people, of all people, with Miss Isa, with Mr. Timur, Mr. Emil, with my students, and these conversations is what keeps it fun for me. And I try, instead of having a work-life balance where you separate the two, I try to have life inside of the work, by having these conversations with everybody, with Mr. Oktay, with everyone, and I enjoy that.
Who do you prefer more, Mr. Emil or Mr. Timur?
I would say Mr. Timur, because A, I think a lot of people would say Mr. Emil, so I think I want to be Mr. Timur's side. And B, honestly, Mr. Timur is the back office of all of this, and I am someone who respects that a lot. Because I know that I can't do that, and therefore I would say Mr. Timur. Yeah. Of course, I love Mr. Emil. He's my business partner. This would not be possible without him, but Mr. Timur for sure, yeah.
How did you meet with Miss Aisha?
She taught me 10, 12, I don't know, I shouldn't say how many years now, but a long time ago she used to teach me history. And you see, I was always science, like that was my sort of main goal, so to speak. But she brought this love for history that I had, and I remember I wrote a speech for, we were discussing the civil rights movement in the US in the 1960s, so Dr. King, and she asked me to write a speech on behalf of Dr. Martin Luther King. And I wrote that, and since then, and that was the point when I started liking writing speeches and talking, and, doing motivational talks and stuff like that. So, she has played a big role in my life, even though she doesn't know it sometimes. But yeah, and since then she's been a teacher for me, and now we work together, which is great for me as well.
What is your worst nightmare?
Worst nightmare? This is a good question. Honestly, I think I grew up in a society, grew up in a sort of environment where I always had very high expectations of myself, and people had very high expectations of myself. And the truth is, I wouldn't want to disappoint people, because there are a lot of people who count on me. And I think that's one of the things about being a medical professional in the future, is that people will depend on you. And for me personally, I would not want to disappoint people or let people down. And that's something that is probably my biggest nightmare, yeah.
What is your current dream?
My current dream? I'm working on several different projects right now. The school is one. I have my research, everything. I think my current dream is it's not a dream, it's a vision, where I'm looking back at my life at 60, 75 and saying that yes, I have made a big change in people's lives. If you can call that a dream, then maybe that.
Describe yourself in 3 words.
Okay. I would say hardworking, lazy, paradoxical.
What is the best thing about LANDAU?
The students. Definitely.
At what age did you decide who you wanted to be?
I don't think I still have. People ask me all the time, do you want to do medicine, do you want to do something else? Honestly, I don't know. And you see, like I said before, I always knew I wanted to do science. And now that I've grown up a little bit more, I want to keep everything open. I have not decided yet. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
How you tell us a bit about your university experience? Can you
Definitely, it was definitely my university experience. Like I said, the first semester was very difficult. It was very difficult. It was a new country, new language, new experience, new people. Everything was new, and like I said before, people are usually reserved for the first semester. But I found a few good friends who helped me through it, and since then I've enjoyed it massively. Definitely, for sure. It's been a great experience, and I've learned a lot. That is for me the most important thing, that I've learned genuinely a lot. I look at myself 5 years ago, 3 years ago, and I look at myself now. I've learned a lot academically, as a person. Yeah.
What is the biggest challenge that you have ever had to face?
I think that would be when there was a fire in the Lesnik & Co. building in our previous office this was November 2017. I was in Berlin. I was actually just boarding my flight to come to Baku when I got a call saying that this has happened, and my biggest challenge was at the time saying that everything that I worked for with Mr. Emil was right now there was nothing there, and we said, let's forget all of this, let's go even bigger. And that was the biggest challenge, because for us to come from, basically rise up from the ashes, was literally actually was a big challenge. It was probably the biggest challenge in my life, yeah.
What book would you like for your younger students?
Those who know me would know that I read a lot, and I like suggesting literature to my students a lot. I personally am a big fan of anything anthropological, anything about generally about religious studies about how people have developed over the years. So one of my favorite books, of course, is a bestseller as well, is *Sapiens*, and *Homo Deus* is of course good. *21 Lessons for Humanity*, I think it's called, is also very good. But *Sapiens* is a good book to start with. It will give you perspective in life. Yeah.
What was the first problem that you faced while building a school?
People didn't believe that it's going to be a school, and which makes sense because you cannot just come to people being, oh, by the way, we're opening a school, and they'll think, what do you mean a school? Because a school is a very important and a very serious institution, and it took us time to explain to people that we are actually being very serious about this, and we are taking steps, measures to make it a serious project. And yes, so I think that was the biggest issue that we faced, to gain credibility, to gain trust, which makes sense that it should be hard to gain. Yeah.
What is your biggest regret in your life?
My biggest regret? Oh wow, it's a difficult question, really. I mean, I think anyone who's done anything in life has to have regrets because they must have made mistakes, and I mean, and I always grew up being a perfectionist, or trying to be a perfectionist at least. So most of my mistakes I usually end up regretting, but there are too many to count. I can't give you an answer on that. There are probably a lot of regrets I had in life, but yeah.
Do you like motivating students, and how?
Oh, I love motivating students. How? Honestly, what I tell them is, I tell them a story. I tell them a personal story. How I tell them my story usually, and I tell them, there are people in this world who are not given the opportunities that we get on a plate. That they're not given the opportunities that we are given. Because coming to an international school, studying IGCSE A level already gives you a platform that most people in this world don't. So it's your choice. You either take that and make something out of it, or you don't. And in the end, what people remember will be the story that you had. And it's your choice. Do you want a boring story or an interesting story? So again, it's your choice. You can have both, or one of the either. None of them is worse, so to speak. Because in life, having a more interesting story does not mean that you had a successful life. But it's all about. I tell the kids that you have to decide for yourself from the very beginning. What kind of a story do you want to tell to people? And usually that works.
When you give students videos to watch, do you also watch it at the same time, or have you already watched it before?
I think I know who sent that question, but yes. Usually, like I said, this is something I started in Germany. I used to use a lot of online resources to study, and most of the videos that I've sent the students are videos that I've watched before, or videos that I've watched which I liked, which I feel will make an impact on people, and eventually then I sort of forwarded to them again. So I've watched them before, either just before or a long time ago. But yeah.
What are your thoughts on how our school is developing?
It's developing, well, you see, I'm a bit biased, right? Because, of course, I'm in the very epicenter of this whole growth, and I'm helping it grow. I'm proud of of what we've achieved so far, because we've only been open for 6 months, and people often forget that. We're growing very, very fast, and somewhere I'm happy about that, because, well, it means that parents and children want to come study here, because we have done something good. At the same time, it's a big responsibility, and I'm worried about it, because I'm worried how will we manage next year and the year after that. But with the right team, with Ms. Aysel, Ms. Kunu, and everyone sort of, and Mr. Timur, of course, everyone behind the scenes, I'm pretty confident that we'll be able to do a good job, but I'm still worried. So happy and worried at the same time.
Have you seen the new LANDAU School building blueprints or not? If yes, describe it in 3 words.
Well, actually, they're right here. I have them, but I always have them in my pocket. The blueprints, well, describe them in 3 words. Interesting design, definitely. Bigger at least than our current school, and most certainly, I think it'll be a more sort of open space and more sort of a breathable environment. So there were no three words, but they were the best way I could describe them. Yeah.
What do you think about the integrity education team?
They are the closest people I have. They are people who know how I think. They're people with whom I have spent a lot of time, and yes, the integrity education team. They are very good at what they do, and I'm very proud of them.
What do you think about the ninth grade? Describe each of them in 3 words.
I would describe them, well, I like them a lot. I like them a lot because I've spent a lot of time with them. And I would not describe each of them. I'm sorry for not answering the question, but I would describe them as a collective. They're motivated. They are receptive because when I tell them something, they actually receive it and sort of adjust or adapt. So they're motivated, receptive, and generally pretty nice people. So that's about it. Any other questions left?
Yeah. What do you think about school having a school uniform?
Honestly, I sort of went to a British boarding school. I like uniform, but I think what we have is a good mixture of comfort and uniformity. So this is good level to be.
Which house do you like more and why? Like the school uniform.
Yeah. Well, you see, all of them. I'm not gonna say I like one more, but I feel all of them have their own strong suits. I like the phrases they have all attached. They're all interesting, but I can't comment on that. Unfortunately, I don't know which one I would like more.
What do you think about the teachers in LANDAU School?
Well, I think they're all very good. They're eager to learn and improve in themselves, irrespective of how experienced they all are, which is very important for me and for all of us actually. And that's something that I love about the teachers, the staff in the school. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.